to focus on harnessing clean, alternative energy sources. And that way, we can leave our children a cleaner, healthier planet, wean ourselves from foreign oil. I urge my colleagues to vote against this rule and against this drill-only bill. I yield back my time.
The gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I respectfully ask how much time remains on each side?
The gentleman from New York has 13 minutes. The gentleman from Massachusetts has 12.5 minutes. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'm pleased to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from California, my good friend, Mr. Denham.
The gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. I rise today in support of the rule and the underlying legislation. The rule we have before us today allows for an open process and provides this body the opportunity to debate an issue of increasing importance to our constituents back home. The future of our energy policy in this country is at stake here today, which is why I'm proud to co-sponsor this bill reversing the President's offshore drilling moratorium. This past weekend, I visited with a number of constituents at gas stations throughout my district. Some are asking, will we get to $5 gas prices? If you come to my district, we're already there. Visited Wawona, California, which everybody likes to talk about tourism. In California, we've got a great deal of tourism. But everybody that I talked to at that pump said, we planned this trip quite a while ago. We can't afford to do it today. We wouldn't have done it had we known gas prices would have been this high. Well, gas prices are still going up. We're afraid that in Wawona we'll see $6 gas prices. You want to affect tourism? Try hitting America's pocketbook at $6 a gallon. But it's just not just tourism. If you go to other farms in my district, diesel gas has gone up. If you're frustrated about paying higher gas prices, wait till you pay higher grocery prices. Because California's great ag economy, the prices are going up. In fact, some crops are going to stay in the field this year just because we can't afford to have the gas to bring them to market. Parents feeling the same thing. You know, as I'm going to swim practice over the weekend, talking to parents frustrated about just being able to get their kids to school every day. You think this bill won't do something for gas prices? It's common sense to know if we've got a greater supply here in our great nation, gas prices are going to go down. We want American jobs. We want to be self-reliant. When we talk about veterans here on this floor, I am a veteran. I served my country. I don't want to be reliant on foreign oil anymore. You know, we talk about the 2%.
Is recognized for an additional 1 minute.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. You know, a lot is always talked about us utilizing 25% of the world's gas. And where we disagree is the number of 2% of the world's oil. It's not a disagreement. The fact is we've got 65% of the world's reserves between our oil shale. You just have to be willing to go get it. Natural gas, we want to use natural gas. Let's utilize our own natural gas. But some of the largest oil reserves in the world. We just have to be willing to have American jobs and reduce our reliance on foreign oil. I yield back.
The gentleman from California yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself 10 seconds.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, this bill does absolutely nothing to lower gas prices, and it does everything to increase profits for big oil companies. And again, I repeat the question that I've been asking over and over again, why was the amendment that would help our veterans get jobs when they return from Iraq and Afghanistan defeated in the Rules Committee? I have no idea why. At this point, I'd like to yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Peters.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized for 5 minutes.
I'd like to thank my friend from Massachusetts for yielding me time, and I urge my colleagues to vote no on the previous question. The bills proposed by the Republican leadership today, H.R. 1229 and H.R. 1231, do nothing to lower the high gas prices burdening America's families today. That's why I'll be offering legislation that will produce real fuel savings for consumers, reduce our dependence on imported oil, and stimulate American manufacturing. The Advanced Vehicle Technology Act proposes real solutions to high gas prices by helping America develop the next generation of high-tech, fuel-efficient vehicles. I hope my colleagues will see that this is a better alternative to the bills that are being voted on today. First, this bill has broad support, unlike the Republican measures before us. My bill passed last Congress with a bipartisan majority. A majority of the members in the House today have already voted in favor of this legislation. Unlike the Republican bills, this legislation is supported by both business groups like the Chamber of Commerce and the National Association of Manufacturers, as well as the League of Conservation Voters and the Sierra Club, proving that you can support the economy while also protecting the environment. Second, this bill will quickly result in real cost savings to consumers. Technologies have already been developed to achieve remarkable fuel savings, and putting more money into R&D increases the speed in which new technologies can be adapted and used. Unlike the Republican drilling plan, which will take nearly a decade to produce results, technologies being developed today can be commercialized and put into cars in the very near future. I have visited auto companies and suppliers in my district and have seen firsthand the level of technological advancement. For example, they have technologies that are ready to be commercialized that can improve efficiency by 30% and sometimes more. That means you can drive your car 30% further on the same tank of gas. That represents real savings to consumers. A large focus of this bill is on commercializing those technologies so that they can be brought to consumers and start reducing gas bills today, not 10 years from now. This bill also targets fuel savings in medium and heavy-duty trucks. It's widely known that there are huge efficiency gains to be made in these vehicles. By placing a greater focus on research and development in this area, we can achieve the greatest bang for the buck. More efficient trucks also yield consumer savings because it'll reduce transportation costs of food and other goods that we buy at the store. The fuel savings we receive from these technological advancements in cars and trucks will have a national security benefit as well. Simply put, the bill reduces the amount of oil we import from unfriendly nations. 60% of our petroleum needs today are met by imported supplies. Reducing the demand for imported oil is one of the best ways to meet our energy independence goals and end the immense transfer of American dollars to undemocratic and unfriendly nations. Finally, the legislation supports American manufacturing and high-paying jobs. Rising gas prices are going to drive up demand for advanced vehicles around the world, and it is in our national interest to ensure that the research, development, and manufacturing happens right here in the United States. That's why this bill was included in the Make It in America agenda, a plan to rebuild American manufacturing and create well-paying jobs unveiled by House Democrats and Democratic Whip Hoyer last week. The Advanced Vehicle Technology Act epitomizes the goals of Make It in America by ensuring that our country remains a leader in producing the cars and trucks of the future and supporting high-tech research and engineering jobs right here at home. Fuel-efficient vehicle research is a win-win for our economy. It creates jobs and makes transportation more affordable for American families. There is no doubt in the years ahead that more Americans will be driving hybrids, plug-in hybrids, battery electric vehicles, and cars and trucks powered by hydrogen fuel or natural gas. The only question is whether these new technologies will be researched, developed, and manufactured here in the United States or overseas. At the same time, domestic automotive and commercial vehicle manufacturers and suppliers have increasingly limited resources for research and development of advanced technologies. That's why the Advanced Vehicle Technology Act will create partnerships between the Department of Energy and private companies and ensure that American automobile industry and manufacturing base will continue to be globally competitive, and that as a nation, that we will not trade our dependence for foreign oil for a dependence on foreign batteries and other emerging technologies. This bill does what the American people expects from us. It bridges the partisan and ideological divide. It's
The gentleman is recognized for an additional 1 minute.
It's legislation that has support from the business community, the environmental community, and the labor movement. We must stop voting on bills like the ones the majority is offering that pit priorities against each other, and instead we need to move legislation like my bill that brings our priorities together. This legislation will lower costs for consumers, reduce the amount of oil we import from countries that don't like us, and create and sustain manufacturing and R&D jobs here in the United States. I urge a no vote on the previous question so that we can support this legislation to make it in America. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'm pleased to yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Sutherland.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 3 minutes. Without objection.
I'd like to thank the gentleman from New York for yielding me time today. I rise today on behalf of the American families, the farmers, and the fishermen, especially those across North Florida and Northwest Florida, who are being crushed today by these incredibly high-rising fuel costs. You know, I represent and am privileged to represent the largest landmass district in Florida, and I'll tell you, those that make their living in farming, those that make their living in one of our 8 coastal counties in the fishing industry, they are being hammered day in, day out by rising fuel costs, especially the cost of diesel fuel. We have the responsibility to American people today to alleviate our energy crisis through tough economic times. And we can do this and must achieve this important goal while protecting the sensitive coastal regions. And yes, I took my baby steps on the beaches of Panama City, so I understand how important our environmental concerns are. My family's been there since Florida became a state, so I understand how critically important our environment is. But at the same time, we must also preserve our military mission capabilities. We have a home of Tyndall Air Force Base and the home of the F-22, and so I understand how critical they are to our communities and our environment and our economies down in Florida as well. And doing all these things while at the same time making sure that what we do in this House protects the American family budget, and especially in regards to rising fuel costs. Most family budgets today are spending over 10%. Right at near and over 10% of their family budget on rising fuel costs. Unfortunately, some of our colleagues today believe the best thing to do, rather to get us out of this hole, is to dig this hole even deeper. And I'll tell you, my grandfather said, son, that would violate walking around sense. Okay? Instead of getting out of the hole, you just drive and dig a deeper hole. You know, this chart that I'm looking at right here beside me that I want you to see, well, talks about the declining crude production in the Gulf of Mexico. In mid-2009, the United States was producing 1.73 million barrels of oil per day in the Gulf of Mexico. According to the Energy Information Administration, that number will fall to 1.18 million barrels per day next year. And so therefore, and I know earlier we heard one of my colleagues talk about the 6th graders around the country. Well, 6th graders, I will tell you, they understand, and they will soon learn in economics, that if in order to reduce the price, you have to have more of something. That's simple. They're going to learn that in basic economics. You have to have more of it. You know, what does this drastic reduction in the Gulf exploration mean for people in Florida's 2nd Congressional District? They mean that if they go to the marina to try to go catch their 2 fish this year per day out in the Gulf of Mexico, that they're going to spend over almost $6 per gallon of gas to fill that boat up. $6 per gallon of gas. I'm telling you, that is unbearable. You know, the second chart that I have right here is the exodus of American jobs. Rigs leaving the Gulf for foreign waters under the Obama administration's de facto moratorium. You know, I see cities on, I see countries on here.
Time has expired.
If I could yield another minute to Mr. Sutherland.
Yes. The gentleman is recognized for an additional 1 minute.
Thank you. You'll see on here that jobs are leaving the Gulf of Mexico, and they're going to the Mediterranean Sea, Egypt, Australia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. And as we know, our favorite pick of late is Brazil. I'm saying that what we have to do in this body today is we have to make sure that we put our lives in the lives of the American family. And we have to make sure that it is time today to do what this body should have done many, many years ago. And we have to make sure that we take care of them and make sure that we tap into our natural resources that we have in this country. I stand today and rise in support of this rule as well as the underlying bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
I yield myself 5 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. This bill does nothing at all to lower fuel costs and everything to increase the profits by big oil companies, and I think it shows where the priorities of the Republican Party is at this moment. At this time, I'd like to yield 1.5 minutes to the gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Cicilline.
The gentleman is recognized for a minute and a half.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of H.R. 1367, the Advanced Vehicle Technology Act, and ask my colleagues to vote no on the previous question. This legislation rewards American workers and American innovation. It's a true investment in American ingenuity and will help us make it in America. By reauthorizing the Department of Energy's Vehicle Technologies Research Programs, the Freedom Car and the 21st Century Truck Partnerships, the next generation of advanced vehicles will be built in America. The Advanced Technology Act is one important part of the Democratic Jobs Plan, a jobs plan that focuses on making it in America, because there is no way that we can maintain our position as a great economic power without making things in America. Making things in America is a key part of rebuilding our nation's economy. It's about reversing the manufacturing job loss trend, recommitting ourselves to the things that created America's middle class: good-paying jobs, world-class education, top-notch research, and sound infrastructure. I strongly urge my colleagues to support H.R. 1367 because when we invest in American ingenuity and innovation, when we make it in America, our middle class will be strengthened and our nation will be prosperous. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Massachusetts continues to reserve, and the gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'm pleased to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Landry.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Look, Reuters, April 27th, reported that the President urged other countries to lift crude oil output. To lift crude oil output. How come if other countries increase their output, it affects the price, but yet if we increase our output, it does not? So if other countries promote their drill, baby, drill, it affects the price. But yet when we in America try to drill, we don't affect the price, according to my colleagues on the other side. Electric cars. So let's get this straight. They want Americans to charge their car up on a system, on a grid system, that's already failing and broken. We've had rolling brownouts and blackouts in this country, and that's what we want to plug our cars into? I'm sorry, no. And then they say, well, you know, there are the hybrid cars. I can't pull my boat with a Prius. I can't do it. I enjoy going fishing. I enjoy the time that I get to take my little boy out and teach him what my father and my grandfather taught him, and I have to do that pulling a boat with my Chevrolet pickup truck. And I like to fill it up. But I sure wish that when I filled it up, it would be affordable. And we can make in America. Let's make American energy. That's what this bill, our bill, does. That's why I rise in support of this rule and this bill. If we want to make things in America, let's start with making our energy. When we make our energy in America, we can make our products here. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Louisiana yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves, and the gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Clark.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to recognize the gentleman in Louisiana had it partially right. You know, the way we create jobs, we do it the old-fashioned way. We import great cars from Detroit. So I urge you to defeat the previous question, support the bill that we've been talking about that will create great fuel-efficient cars, that will create jobs, and also save our motorists a lot of money because they won't have to fill up their cars with this expensive gasoline. They'll be able to power their vehicles through other alternative sources of energy. That's good for our environment. It's great for our country. It'll save the motorists money, but most importantly, it'll create jobs. Let's import these good-paying jobs by importing fuel-efficient vehicles from the city of Detroit. That's how you make it in America, and I yield back my time.
The gentleman from Michigan yields back his time. The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, at this time, I'm pleased to yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from Washington, Ms. Butler.
The gentlewoman from Washington is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, the rising cost of gas is quickly becoming the hottest topic in any meeting, and especially in my hometown and in my neck of the woods in Southwest Washington State. I hosted a job creators forum about a week and a half ago, small job creators, and one of the biggest issues I heard about was the rising cost of gas prices. I have a pizza delivery operation. Well, they make pizzas and deliver them, and you can all imagine what rising gas prices does to a small business like this. They've had to let people go over the past, and they're starting to hire people again, and one of his requests was make this affordable. And one of the ways we can do that is by supporting this bill, because we open up the opportunity to get more to get more domestic energy. And that's the reality. You know, I can't wait for the day when our country no longer is dependent on fossil fuels, when we don't need gasoline or we don't need to get it from countries that don't like us. I can't wait for that day. And I support those energy exploration of alternative energies. But the problem is we're not there yet. We are not there today. And the reality is every time gas goes up, we lose jobs. And in my neck of the woods, where we have double-digit unemployment, 14%, 13, 14% in some areas, going on 3 years, it is unacceptable that this Congress would sit on its hands and do nothing while the price of gas goes up. If we explore for energy here domestically and we do it now, we're going to bring relief today to those small business owners in our region. They're going to be able to hire more people. So as we all go back to our districts next week, we know we're going to hear from moms and dads, we're going to hear from business owners about the high costs of gas. I invite my Democratic colleagues to join with us. Let's look our constituents in the eye and say we supported legislation that will lower energy prices today to meet their needs. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlewoman from Washington yields back. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I yield myself 10 seconds. I just want to remind the gentlelady that the Department of Energy says that prices will, that if we go ahead with this plan here, prices will go down by 3 to 5 cents in the year 2030. So, and if you're serious about alternative forms of energy, then my question is, why have you defunded all the programs that would fund those new clean green jobs?
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, we are prepared to close at this point in time.
The gentleman from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, while my Republican friends cut Medicare, while they cut fuel assistance for elderly people who can't afford the cost of fuel during the cold months, while they cut Pell Grants, while they go to their way to protect the tax cuts of Donald Trump and millionaires, while putting all the burden to reduce the deficit on middle-class families, you know, while they protect the subsidies for big oil companies, it is shameful. It is shameful that with the record profits that big oil is making, that taxpayers continue to subsidize them by billions of dollars. It is unconscionable. It is unconscionable. You want to reduce the deficit? You know, my friends on the other side, they go after programs that benefit the poor. They protect programs like corporate welfare that goes to big oil companies. You know, we should be investing in alternative forms of energy. We should be investing in cleaner and greener technologies. That's what we have been trying to do, but my friends on the other side have been obstructing everything that we have proposed. They say they want to not be so reliant on fossil fuels in the future, and yet they cut the very programs that will allow us to become more energy independent. You know, this bill here will do nothing, absolutely nothing, zero, to impact the price of gasoline. Does nothing. Everybody knows how big oil operates, and they do whatever they want to do. At a time when they're raising their prices, they're going to make more money this year than they did last year. It's outrageous what they're doing to the American people, how they're gouging the American people. But this bill is not an answer to anything. This is just a soundbite for them to go home and say, hey, we did something, knowing that it will never pass the Senate, but also knowing that even if it did pass the Senate, as the President signed it, it would mean nothing. So rather than focusing on things to help create jobs, to help make it in America, to help create more products in this country, we're going through these ridiculous exercises every week on different subjects. And today it happens to be a bill that is a big wet kiss to big oil. To me, this is the wrong thing we should be taking our time up doing. We should be talking about how do we create jobs in this country, how do we put people back to work, and yes, we should be talking about ways that we can truly reduce the cost of energy for consumers. Mr. Speaker, I'm urging that we defeat the previous question, and I will offer an amendment if we defeat the previous question to the rule to provide that immediately after the House adopts the rule, it will bring up H.R. 1367, the Advanced Vehicle Technology Act of 2011, introduced by Representative Peters. And I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of the amendment in the record along with extraneous materials immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection, so
And just one final thing, Mr. Speaker. Again, I mean, we had an amendment in the Rules Committee last night offered by Mr. Boswell that would help give hiring preferences to our veterans who are risking their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it was defeated. That's an outrage. Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to vote no and defeat the previous question so we can debate and pass a bill that American companies develop the next generation of high-tech, fuel-efficient vehicles. I urge a no vote on the rule, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Massachusetts yields back the time. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this rule and on this bill, I think this side of the aisle is demonstrating to all of America that we are listening. Right now, with gas prices going through the roof, right now with people suffering and high unemployment across the nation, we have before us a rule and a bill that will undoubtedly create jobs. 1.2 million jobs, according to economist Dr. Joseph Mason. We have a bill and a plan that is going to bring us closer to less dependency on foreign energy supplies. It will reduce foreign oil imports by nearly 1/3. Mr. Speaker, we on this side of the aisle are going to deal with the American people in an honest fashion. We are not going to scare the American people. We are going to have an open and honest conversation with the American people. We will lead. And what we're doing here is answering a call that the American people have reached out to us to do, and that is to commit to our domestic supplies of energy so that we have energy supplies that will allow manufacturers in the private sector to create the new opportunities for generations of Americans that are yet to come. This is not a bill that is about protecting big oil. This is not about tax subsidies. I take great disagreement with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle when they say we are fighting for tax subsidies for big oil. What they're talking about is intangible drilling costs. They're talking about basic tax policy where there are income and expenses that are being calculated and deducted off of income taxes. It goes back to my life in the private sector. When I read income and expense sheets, all we're talking about are expenses, not tax subsidies. If we want to engage in rhetoric, that's fine. But we're focused on the substance of the issue, and that substance is getting Americans back to work, 1.2 million jobs under this proposal. We will generate $800 million in revenue over 10 years, and we are going to lead. And I urge my colleagues to support this rule and support the underlying legislation by voting in favor of both. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and at this time I yield back the balance of my time, and I move the previous question on the resolution.
Both sides having yielded back their time. The question is on ordering the previous question on the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, on that I ask for a recorded vote.
Does the gentleman from Massachusetts ask for the yeas and nays?
I ask for the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote on the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question will be postponed.
Pursuant to House Resolution 245 and Rule 18, the Chair declares the House in the Committee of the Whole on the State of the Union for the further consideration of H.R. 1229. Will the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Poe, kindly take the chair?
The House is in the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union for further consideration of H.R. 1229, which the clerk will report by title.
A bill to amend the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act to facilitate the safe and timely production of American energy resources from the Gulf of Mexico.
When the Committee of the Whole rose on Tuesday, May 10, 2011, a request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 11, printed in Part A of House Report 112-73 by the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Hastings, had been postponed. Pursuant to Clause 6 of Rule 18, proceedings will now resume on those amendments printed in Part A of House Report 112-73, on which further proceedings were postponed in the following order. Amendment Number 4 by Ms. Hanabusa from Hawaii, Amendment Number 6 by Mr. Holt from New Jersey, Amendment Number 7 by Mr. Polis from Colorado, Amendment Number 8 by Mr. Hastings from Florida, Amendment Number 9 by Mr. Deutsch from Florida, and Amendment Number 11 from Mr. Hastings by Florida. The Chair will reduce to 2 minutes the time for any electronic vote after the first vote in this series. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 4, printed in Part A of House Report 112 by the gentlewoman from Hawaii, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevailed by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment Number 4, printed in Part A of House Report Number 112-73, offered by Ms. Hanabusa of Hawaii.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
And the U.S. House is back to work on a couple of bills dealing with offshore oil and gas drilling. For the past hour or so, they've been debating the rule for a measure that would require the Interior Department to hold lease sales off the East Coast from Maine to North Carolina, off the coast of Southern California, in the Arctic Ocean, and also Alaska's Bristol Bay. That's a rule vote that will come up in a bit. A whole slew of votes here. The first series here is going to be 5 or 6 amendment votes to a bill that was debated yesterday, a bill that would provide a faster process for approving offshore oil and gas drilling permits. First amendment here, the first amendment vote, it's 15 minutes, by Representative Hanabusa of Hawaii, would state that the Interior Secretary shouldn't issue an offshore permit without certifying that the applicant has calculated a worst-case scenario. So it's a 15-minute vote, and all of the following amendment votes will be 2-minute votes. And to get some background on these bills that the House has been debating yesterday and today, we spoke to a Capitol Hill reporter. From Politico, Darren Good joins us. The Republicans have been devoting a lot of efforts in getting these drilling measures passed in the U.S. House. What's behind that?
Well, I think this is certainly part of a big messaging war right now between Republicans and Democrats, both on Capitol Hill and also in the White House. Republicans have been pushing the idea that in order to lower gas prices, we need to increase domestic production of oil and gas and other energy sources. They were upset and went after the administration for the moratorium on deepwater oil and gas drilling following the Gulf of Mexico spill and the kind of the slow pace, especially initially, on getting permits out, drilling permits out, even once that 5-month federal ban was lifted. Democrats all over on the Senate side right now are going after oil companies for their profits right now, and they've got ideas specifically to bring down gas prices, but it's part of this, frankly, a lot of noise going on Capitol Hill about gas prices, and it's because there's a lot of concern back home when people are paying about $4 a gallon.
Well, is there evidence that any of the Republican bills proposed so far would actually reduce gas prices?
Well, no, well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, the fact is that gas prices are mainly set by global crude oil prices. And the fact is that, number one, it takes a while to produce a well. So if you were to greenlight gas, if these bills were to pass now, it would take probably at least a decade for production to start in the areas that these bills would open up, and that's not guaranteed. Number two, the U.S. doesn't put out a whole lot of oil and gas on the global market at this point, and it's unclear how much production would actually help. So it's one of those things where, well, it could help some, but frankly, I mean, these bills, and we can get into that argument, I suppose, but these bills aren't going to become law. Again, I think this is just part of a kind of a messaging from Capitol Hill where both sides have their ideas. But, it's unclear how much of an impact this would have on prices. Again, it depends on who you would ask.
Well, in arguing about these the bills this week, the House Republicans were saying that this would reverse President Obama's moratorium on offshore oil exploration. Democrats saying there isn't a moratorium in place currently. What's the case?
Well, that's true. There's one in the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and that expires in 2022. It's true that off the coastlines there isn't right now. And also, I think it depends on which moratorium we're talking about. I mean, there was the 5-month federal deepwater ban after the Gulf spill, and that has been lifted. But I think what Republicans are referring to in this case, I think, are almost more of a symbolic moratorium where the administration doesn't seem likely to approve oil and gas drilling, for example, off the southern coast of California, which is what the third bill coming up today would do. And there are areas off the Atlantic coast, for example, that the administration likely is not going to greenlight drilling.
Well, looking into the U.S. Senate, you talked about this bill that would propose to repeal tax breaks for oil and gas companies. When is the Senate likely to take something like that up?
Well, they're supposed to be bringing up at some point to the floor this week, I think, to start debate. A vote probably wouldn't happen until next week sometime. That's not likely going to pass either. There are enough Republicans and Democrats representing quote-unquote oil states like Mary Landrieu in Louisiana, Mark Begich in Alaska, who don't like the idea of singling out these companies, singling out one industry, tax incentives for one industry. Probably, again, we'll see. I mean, Democrats are already doing press conferences and such talking about the bill that was introduced yesterday. Again, it would repeal about $21 billion in tax incentives for the 5 largest oil companies and use that money to pay down the debt or help lower the debt. It's been quote-unquote hotlined, which means it's ready for floor action whenever they decide to bring it up. They're doing some nominations so far this week, and so we could see some debate on that this week, but a vote wouldn't happen until next week.
Darren Good, keeping an eye on the drilling bills in the U.S. House and Senate. You can read his work at Politico.com. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
And that will be the legislative business in the U.S. House this afternoon. A whole series of votes here on amendments to a bill that was debated yesterday. This is a bill that would provide a speedier process for approving offshore oil and gas drilling permits, and an amendment proposed here by Representative Hanabusa of Hawaii. 5 more amendment votes will follow this, and those following votes will be 2-minute votes. This is a 15-minute vote, first one here in the U.S. House. I'm going to show you comments next from House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Rogers, who talked about the capturing of Osama bin Laden. This, as the Associated Press just a short while ago reports that Associated Press sources are saying that Osama bin Laden kept a handwritten journal that was seized in that U.S. raid. Mike Rogers was speaking this morning at the Council on Foreign Relations, and we wanted to bring you some of his comments on the raid of 2 weekends ago.
Well, good morning. It's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity and the offer, Ellen. Thanks for your work in the intelligence business as well. I know you did some liaison work at the United Nations, and you now work on the PIAP. I want to call it the PIFIAP, but that's no longer. In this business, they change acronyms more than they change their underwear, I've decided. So I appreciate the work that you do, and thank you very, very much for that. Jane Harman, my former colleague, who is is now at a think tank, and so apparently that makes you smarter than you were before, which I didn't think was possible, but thank you for being here. Yeah, thanks. And it's always good when you walk up to give a speech when Jane Harmon, who is a good speaker and very knowledgeable about the subject, says, "Don't screw this up." Thanks. Thanks, Jane. Appreciate that. My good friend Bud McFarlane, I'm honored to see you here this morning, sir, the National Security Advisor for Ronald Reagan. Did some fantastic work for your country. Thank you, sir, for being there. I see Paul Bremer in the audience, the former ambassador, and I don't know if you know that ambassador, but my wife worked with you in Iraq for quite a while, and thanks for sending her back in all in one piece. We appreciate that very much. I just thought I'd start today and talk a little bit about where we are. But before I talk about where we are, I want to talk a little bit about where we came from. You know, 10 years ago, on the date of 9/11, the intelligence community was very different than it is today, very different. It had suffered huge losses in the 90s. We had cut back. Some places of the world we had no station, no coverage whatsoever. We closed down shop in a lot of places. They used the intelligence community as the opportunity for the peace dividend after the fall of the Soviet Union. We see, leading up to 9/11, what a serious mistake that was. And we saw that the problems that were inherent in a shrinking organization and its ability to want to survive and do good and continue to do its mission, they became hunkered down. They hunkered down into a place where information sharing was a huge problem for them. Some of the hurdles that were there were legal problems. I often heard as an FBI agent about the cultural problem between the FBI and the CIA about sharing information. And it wasn't personality-based. It was legally based. The ability to share 6E information from grand juries was a crime. And as I have said often as an FBI agent, I don't look good in those orange jumpsuits with the numbers across the front. And so what that meant was the culture that was developed because the lanes in the road and the rules in the road prevented those things from happening. And then over time, it became known that from the FBI to the CIA, you just don't really talk to each other, because it's a legal prohibition to do that. So that culture was ingrained in law and policies and the institutions. So you had a shrinking intelligence community. We said human intelligence is not valuable. Matter of fact, it's just too risky. We need to pull back. We're going to eliminate large numbers of our intelligence community. And really, it led to 9/11. Once 9/11 happened, the whole machination of who was responsible and well, who do we blame started. But at the same time, something pretty remarkable happened as well. All of our intelligence agencies realized that they weren't prepared for what was facing them. And the integration started. So we saw technology that didn't exist 10 years ago that is today absolutely critical to the success of those missions, and it is integrated in a way that I've never seen before between all of our services. And the case that we saw last week, to me, is a great example of how it can work. But I caution this. It was one successful operation in what is a long and hard fight against al-Qaeda, its affiliates, and those who want to do harm to the United States. We've heard calls that this is the opportunity to do it just like that every time and dismantle other large parts of the intelligence business. We've won. Couldn't be further from the truth, and we need to caution ourselves and take the lessons from the 90s as we move forward. So let's look at what happened. 10 years ago, the target was Osama bin Laden. Now, they had an Osama bin Laden unit in the CIA prior to this. And its function was to try to understand and study and to see what lethality they really had. And, of course, they had some events that were concerning to them. The East African bombings, the USS Cole certainly brought it to a height, the Khobar Tower bombings. All of those things had an impact, but none of it had stretched across the ocean and tapped the United States directly. So when 9/11 happened, it took a unit that was fairly obscure, didn't get all the resources, and made it incredibly important. So what we realized is, geez, we don't have enough human intelligence. We don't have the ability to touch people using the correct language in the correct place as often as we would like. Our ability to have signals collection in places where we need it was lacking. and it was very Washington, D.C. centered to the rest of the world. We didn't really coordinate as well as we could with the NGA and all the other INTs, the intelligence collection platforms that we might have, or agencies. Just didn't really happen in that way. So something really pretty amazing started. And we started taking people off the battlefield, and we gave them interrogations. And think about why that was important to where we are today. I had a senior intelligence official tell me a couple of years ago that about 70% about what the intelligence community understands about operations, recruiting, finance, weapons movement, how they raise money, what their propaganda unit looks like, and all of those things, including what their relationship is with the Haqqani network, or what their relationship is with the intelligence services of country A or B, came out of those first year's interrogations, all of them. So that's important, because if you're going to get to the next place, you have to understand who they are and how they operate. And then 5 years ago, through an interrogation, a small bit of information came out, a nickname applied to an Arabic nickname applied to an alias name. Pretty difficult. That's about all the information they had that may have been tied to one of the courier networks used by Osama bin Laden. That's really what they had. But it was more than they had in a long time. So they started building on that case using every piece of intelligence technology and human intelligence we had. Sources became incredibly important to try to keep defining down who this might be, or what a physical description was, or what operational status they might have. Signals intelligence got better, and our ability to get signals intelligence got better. So small conversations ended up reaping big rewards over time to try to continue to help identify who, what, when, and why. Our ability to use overhead imagery that tracked patterns of life and other movements was integrated into the unit. Until about last August, that continued on. And I have to tell you, if you've ever seen a pin board on potential leads, you can imagine that thing lit up like a Christmas tree on Zawahiri or bin Laden. Many joked that they thought he was with Elvis at a Burger King in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Guess what? There was a pin right there on that map. They decided they were going to follow every lead at every time. I don't care how small or how large or how outrageous. They were going to dedicate a little bit of time to try to figure out if there was any merit or any thread of truth in that particular lead. They say that the largest grossing Starbucks in the United States is at CIA headquarters. And there's a reason for that. It's open a lot, and there's a lot of people drinking a lot of coffee, following lots of leads that most of them went nowhere. Most of them were dry holes. Most of them actually took us away from where the target may be. And then that one lucky break, using all of the pieces, and remember, every little piece got better. So one interrogation got you the nickname, the next interrogation got you maybe a hometown or a real family name, some SIGINT piece identified where that person might be working. All of that led to a very lucky event when they were able to follow a particular individual to a certain compound. Happened back in August. And it didn't fit the characteristics. Some called it a mansion, some called it other things. It clearly didn't fit the characteristics. I'm not sure I'd call it a mansion, but it clearly did not fit the characteristics of the town that it was in. So then they set about, they put a special unit, so an isolated unit even in the counterterrorism business, and decided that they were going to have something equivalent of a pursuit team, analyze everything at the next level up, and utilize the resources, all of the resources that we had, with all of the agencies that we had, to apply it on that particular target. We wanted to know everything. And by the next few months, they started to know everything. The complete patterns of life. All the things that you would hope they would know so that somebody could make a very good decision to say, yep, that's probably Osama bin Laden, we better go get him. Now here's the interesting thing. All of the things and all of the lessons and even the operation itself was built on something that came before it. Those special forces, elite special forces teams do 2 and 3 raids a night when they're working in Iraq and Afghanistan. much like the same kind of compound, much like this. The operation was very similar to many other operations, which gave them a high degree of confidence and a high degree of combat experience and operational experience to pull off something that was just a little bit trickier than the other ones. That was an incredible feat. The agency's ability to keep getting closer and closer with sources of information or people who would either wittingly or unwittingly provide information about patterns of life. Our ability electronically to pick up just the smallest thing that might benefit that whole operation. And it all happened because we've learned from the one that happened before. So some notion that this was put together at the last minute based on a few months or even a few years of planning is ridiculous. And why that's so important is now that this success, and albeit a very public success, the calls have started for changing the shape of the intelligence business, changing the mission in Afghanistan, changing how we do things. This is the only way that we should conduct operations as we move forward when we're trying to break the back of al-Qaeda. And I couldn't disagree more. We've got to take the lessons of the 90s and apply them today. We have all the tools that have been laid out, the Patriot Act, the fact that this year we're going to do an FY11 bill that provides the necessary authorization and ability for the Intelligence Committee to do proper oversight on the 17 agencies for the first time. The authorities and the leadership is important. Leon Panetta has done a phenomenal job. Not only did he engage at the chairman or the Big 8 level all through the process, but when resources were needed or not needed, when we needed to move resources in order to accommodate, all of that became a working relationship. And in the past few years, and I think Jane can certainly verify that, the committee became almost dysfunctional in its ability to provide that leadership and assistance and help and oversight to the communities because of the intense partisanship that crept in. Dutch Ruppersberger, my ranking member, and I have committed early on, from the day that we both assumed our roles as the chairman and ranking member, that we were going to take partisanship as much out of the Intelligence Committee as you possibly can. After all, there's a benefit for not having a reporter sitting in that audience. Now, the reporters might not think so, but those of us in the committee know how important that is, that you have that dialogue and that debate and come to an agreement when we're moving forward. So what does it mean for us as we go forward? We're going to look at all the successes here on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, including catching Osama bin Laden. We've had some great ones. AQ-CON network, which was completely different. And so we get so focused sometimes on the CT mission that we forget that the agencies are working lots of other very serious problem sets all at the same time. The AQ-CON network in 2006 was a major coup for the intelligence community and stopped a serious problem for us and our national security interests in the world. That proliferation network was growing and growing rapidly. It had a very different flavor from any proliferation you might see out of North Korea. It was culturally based, it was pride based, it was not necessarily cash based. In some cases they gave pretty bad actors, including Libya, and which includes some of the failures we still have to pursue and understand why they happened. In Iraq, the WMD assessment was wrong, but so was our WMD assessment wrong in Libya. Libya was far more advanced. They had a very robust nuclear weapons program. They had a very robust chemical stockpile. They have a very robust biological weapons program. We didn't know about any of it. I wouldn't say no on any of it. We had a very, very, very limited view and analytical product about where Libya was compared to what we found. Wrong in Iraq, wrong in Libya, both for the wrong reasons. One we said had too much, one we didn't know they had hardly any at all. So it shows you that if we must continue to integrate, we must continue to integrate technology. One of the biggest problems we have today, in the last 10 years, we've developed a way to collect so much information, we can't get through it all. So we're going to have smart access for people who need to get access to materials so that we don't have the WikiLeaks disclosure, and we're going to have technology applied to our databases that will allow us to have a software-based analytical product so that when the human eyes take a look at it, it is already narrowed down and it encompasses more information than they could possibly cull through in any short order. And we're going to continue to get better. What does that do? It stops the ability to be wrong on Iraq. It doesn't stop it. It decreases the opportunity to be wrong on Iraq and wrong on Libya. It increases our ability to be right on Iran and exactly right on North Korea. A lot of speculation in the last few years about where they were. I think we keep finding information every day that points to our more aggressive analysts were right about Iran's intentions and where they're at, and the same with North Korea. While they were making a deal with us to stop their program and take food aid, they were clearly engaged in pursuing weapons of mass destruction at a pretty aggressive rate. So again, one of the purposes that we agreed to do this today, and thanks, Ellen, for the
On this vote, the
opportunity.
yeas are 187, the nays are 235. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on amendment number 6, printed in Part A of House Report 112-73 by the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Holt, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevailed by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 6, printed in Part A of House Report number 112-73, offered by Mr. Holtz of New Jersey.
A recorded vote's been requested. Those in support of the request for recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. 2-minute vote.
The House is working its way through the second of a series of 3 bills dealing with offshore oil and gas drilling. The underlying legislation creates a faster process for approving offshore oil and gas drilling permits. 6 amendment votes here, 5 more left, including this one, and they're all 2-minute votes. Rush Holt of New Jersey has an amendment which would strike a provision in the underlying bill that would deem drilling permits to be approved after 60 days, even if necessary safety and environmental reviews have not been completed. 4 more amendment votes will follow this, and we expect a motion to recommit and final passage coming up on that legislation, and then they'll move on to further consideration of another drilling bill that would require the Interior Department to hold lease sales off the East Coast, off Southern California in the Pacific, in the Arctic, and Alaska's Bristol Bay. Moments ago, we were showing some of the comments this morning from Mike Rogers, the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. I want to let you know that you can watch all of that online in our video library at cspan.org, and you can also see that later in our program schedule too. This is a spokeswoman for Maryland Congressman, Dutch Ruppersberger, said that some of the members of the Intelligence Committee will be allowed to view photographs of Osama bin Laden's body. Heather Molino, a spokeswoman for the congressman, said today that the congressman is planning to view the photos at CIA headquarters either today, this afternoon, or on Thursday.
On this vote, the yeas are 178.
Mr. Lynch votes aye. Mr. Pompeo. Mr. Pompeo votes no.
On this vote, the yeas are 179, the nays are 247. The amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 7, printed in Part A of House Report 11273 by the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Polis, in which the further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevailed by voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 7, printed in Part A of House Report number 112-73, offered by Mr. Polis of Colorado.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 2-minute vote. 2 minutes.
3 more amendment votes will follow this one. This is by Jared Polis of Colorado, which an amendment proposing to lift permit deadline requirements in the proposed bill. Again, legislation providing a faster process for approving offshore oil and gas drilling permits. 3 more amendment votes to go, a motion to recommit, and final passage on that. The Associated Press writes this afternoon that lawmakers who believe President Obama didn't properly consult with Congress before launching airstrikes on Libya approved legislation today seeking Pentagon documents on all communications. The House Armed Services Committee, they write, beginning a marathon session to craft a $553 billion budget for the Defense Department for next year, approved the measure on Libya by a voice vote. That is the Armed Services markup of defense authorization, and that is underway. That started earlier today. They're taking a break for this series of votes, but it will resume, and we've been covering it all day. You'll be able to watch that later live on C-SPAN 3 when they gavel back in.
On this vote, the yeas are 173 and the nays are 2.
Mr. Bass of New Hampshire. Mr. Bass of New Hampshire votes no. Mr. Carnahan. Mr. Carnahan votes aye.
On this vote, the yeas are 174 and the nays are 254, and the amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 8, printed in Part A of House Report 112 through 73, by the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Hastings, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevailed by a voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment Number 8, printed in Part A of House Report Number 112-73, offered by Mr. Hastings of Florida.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having arisen, a recorded vote is ordered, and members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
And the House making quick work of amendments related to a bill that would make for a speedier process in approving offshore drilling permits. This amendment by Alcee Hastings of Florida would require a permit application to include an estimate of the amount of oil and gas expected to be produced from the well. It's a 2-minute vote, and 2 more amendment votes to follow.
On this vote, the yeas are 169 and the nays are 258, and the amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is the request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 9, printed in Part A of House Report 112 through 73 by the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Deutsch, on which further proceedings were postponed and on which the noes prevailed by a voice vote. The clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 9, printed in Part A of House Report number 112-73, offered by Mr. Deutsch of Florida.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the requested recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having arisen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members who record their vote by electronic device. This will be a 2-minute vote.
The bill H.R. 1229 would provide for a faster process for approving offshore drilling permits. This amendment by Ted Deutsch of Florida would strike a section of the bill which would allow district courts outside of the Fifth Circuit, that's the court based in New Orleans, to hear civil actions related to oil and gas drilling. One more amendment vote will follow this, and then motion to recommit and final passage coming up on this bill anyway. Still more work ahead on a bill that would require the Interior Department to open up lease sales for parts of the Atlantic, off the coast of Southern California, the Arctic Ocean, and also Alaska's Bristol Bay. More work on that is ahead. Economics writer for the Associated Press, Martin Krutzinger, writes this afternoon that the government is taking in more tax revenues as the economy improves, but not nearly enough to keep the federal budget deficit from exceeding $1 trillion for a third straight year. He writes, the Treasury Department says the deficit for April dropped to $40.5 billion, half the imbalance from the same month last year. Tax receipts were up 45% this April compared to a year ago. Still, the Associated Press writes, the deficit is on a pace to grow to $1.4 trillion in this budget year, nearly matching the record $1.41 trillion hit in 2009. And he says that's putting pressure on Congress and President Obama to agree to a long-term plan to cut the deficit, but the parties disagree on whether that should be done, and through spending, cuts, tax increases, or some mix of both. And those talks with Vice President Biden, administration officials, and members of Congress will resume tomorrow, the third of a series of talks they're having on the debt and deficit.
On this vote, the yeas are 203 and the nays are 220.
Mr. Tipton. Mr. Tipton votes no. Mr. Gingrey. Mr. Gingrey of Georgia votes aye. Off no, on aye for Mr. Gingrey of Georgia. Mr. Dan Lundgren of California. Mr. Dan Lundgren of California votes no.
On this vote, the yeas are 205 and the nays are 222, and the amendment is not adopted. The unfinished business is a request for a recorded vote on Amendment Number 11, printed in Part A of House Report 112 through 73 by the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Hastings, on which further proceedings were postponed, and on which the noes prevailed by a voice vote, and the clerk will redesignate the amendment.
Amendment number 11, printed in Part A of House Report number 112-73, offered by Mr. Hastings of Florida.
A recorded vote has been requested. Those in support of the request for a recorded vote will rise and be counted. A sufficient number having arisen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device, and this will be a 2-minute vote.
And this is the last amendment vote on a bill that would create a faster process for approving permits for offshore oil and gas drilling. This amendment by Alcee Hastings of Florida, former judge and attorney. This would strike a section of the bill, putting limitations on attorneys' fees. So the last amendment vote here, and then the House will likely move on to a debate on a motion to recommit, and final passage still ahead.
Wish to change. The chair would like to clarify that this was Hastings Amendment number 11, not number 10, as was initially put on the board. The final vote is the yeas are 185, the nays are 239. The amendment fails. Being no further amendments, the committee rises.
Mr. Chairman.
Madam Speaker, the Committee of the Whole House and the State of the Union has under consideration H.R. 1229 and pursuant to the House Resolution 245. I report the bill as amended back to the House.
The Chair of the Committee of the Whole House on the State of the Union reports that the committee has had under consideration the bill H.R. 1229 and pursuant to House Resolution 245 reports the bill as amended by that resolution back to the House. Under the rule, the previous question is ordered. The question is on engrossment and the third reading of the bill, and those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Third reading.
A bill to amend the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act to facilitate the safe and timely production of American energy resources from the Gulf of Mexico.
The House will be in order. The House will come to order. Members will vacate the well. The House will come to order. Purpose as the gentleman from Virginia rise.
Madam Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Is the gentleman opposed to the bill?
I am in its present form.
The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. Connolly of Virginia moves to recommit the bill, H.R. 1229, to the Committee on Natural Resources with instructions to report the same back to the House forthwith with the following amendment. On page 4, after line 6, insert the following new paragraph and redesignate accordingly. 3. Coastal restoration. The Secretary shall not issue a permit under paragraph 1 to any applicant that has been required to pay a civil penalty, a criminal fine, or monetary damages resulting from the applicant's activities on the Outer Continental Shelf until such penalties, fines, or damages have been paid in full, or the applicant has entered a formal agreement to pay such penalties, fines, or damages in order to redress economic and environmental harm caused to the Gulf of Mexico region.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana rise?
Madam Chair, I reserve a point of order against the motion.
Point of order is reserved, and the gentleman from Virginia is recognized for 5 minutes. And the House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This simple motion to recommit ensures that oil companies clean up their mess from their oil spills prior to receiving a new permit under the guidelines of this bill. This is the final amendment to the bill, and if it's adopted, we'll immediately vote on final passage. Although we may disagree on the underlying bill.
Gentleman's correct. The House is not in order. The House will be in order. Members and staff are advised to take their conversations off the floor. The House will be in order. The gentleman from Virginia is recognized.
I thank the Speaker. Although we may disagree on the underlying bill, we surely can agree that it's necessary to protect taxpayers who would otherwise have to foot the bill for cleaning up oil companies' oil spills. It's also necessary to protect the individuals whose lives have been directly affected by those spills. Madam Speaker, the House is certainly not in order.
The gentleman is correct. The House is not in order, and the House will be in order. Members and staff are advised they can take their conversations off the floor. The House will be in order. The gentleman may proceed.
I thank the Speaker. To illustrate how important this final amendment is, look no further than last year's Deepwater oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf's fisheries were worth $5.5 billion annually prior to the spill. Shouldn't we require BP to pay those economic damages before it receives another permit to drill again? The Gulf Coast fisheries supported 200,000 fishing jobs prior to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Shouldn't BP have the responsibility to pay those fishermen economic damages who may have lost their livelihoods as a result of their oil spill? Madam Speaker, the House is certainly not in order.
The gentleman is correct. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Members and staff are advised to take their conversations off the floor. The House will be in order. Gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. More than 407,000 residents and 102,000 businesses on the Gulf have submitted claims for damages due to the spill, and fewer than half have been paid. Shouldn't BP have to resolve all of those claims before it takes more of our publicly owned oil from America's outer continental shelf? In many cases, payment of claims is the difference, Madam Speaker, between survival and bankruptcy for small businesses. Of the 102,000 of them that claimed damages as a result of the Gulf oil spill, more than 55,000 submitted claims in excess of $10,000. Losses ranging from $10,000 to more than $500,000 are not trivial. And we should not allow companies like BP to force businesses into bankruptcy even while they seek permission to take more oil from America's outer continental shelf. We still don't know the full extent of cleanup costs resulting from Deepwater Horizon, but the costs continue to grow. Consider how labor-intensive restoration is. To help prevent some sea turtles from being wiped out, restoration teams rehabilitated more than 1,000 of them and relocated 14,000 turtle hatchlings to Florida's east coast, not damaged by oil. More than 4,200 people are still working to clean up more than 544 miles of Gulf coastline, and this work is essential to restore the Gulf's fisheries and tourist economy. For example, the Coast Guard is still cleaning up tar balls and tar mats from Gulf Shores, Alabama. While we can all appreciate the resources the BP has put into the cleanup to date, it is important that we set a clear standard for the Gulf of Mexico. Oil companies that cause oil spills have to clean up their mess first. We should never allow companies like BP to get away with giving the Gulf Coast cleanup a lick and a promise, or let other oil companies continue extracting America's oil until they have finished cleaning up their mess. If the oil companies responsible for spills do not pay for their oil spill cleanups and private damages, then America's taxpayers will end up paying for it. So we need a simple message to oil companies that cause spills: it's your mess, you clean it up. We cannot afford to be subsidizing them at a time when we're wrestling with record deficits and they're experiencing record profits. By passing this simple final amendment to the bill, we'll be honoring the lesson that most of us probably learned from our mothers. If you're responsible for it, you've got to clean it up. And if some oil companies aren't willing to clean up their mess, then they shouldn't get to extract more of our oil, because there are plenty of responsible businesses that would conduct business in a manner that doesn't endanger the livelihoods and lives of nearby residents. Remember, this final amendment doesn't stop a single oil well from being drilled. All it does is ensure that an oil company that caused a spill to clean up its mess before drilling new wells on oil on our property has to take responsibility for the cleanup. I urge a yes vote on the simple amendment, and with that, Madam Speaker, I yield back.
Gentleman from Virginia yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana rise?
Madam Speaker, I continue to reserve my point of order while rising in opposition to the motion.
Gentleman is opposed to the motion.
Madam Speaker, my Democrat colleagues are trying to distract us from...
for 5 minutes.
My Democrat colleagues are trying to distract us from the central issue, which is jobs. We're trying to put people back to work, but instead of putting people back to work, we're having to deal with procedural gamemanship. The American people are tired of games. They want results. Last night, on the phone while I checked on my constituents who are preparing for floodwaters not seen in some 50 years, constituents who may lose their homes, one gentleman asked me, he said, "Congressman, when are we going to get back to work? I will need my offshore job to pay for the damages that this flood brings us." Madam Speaker, the House.
Gentleman's correct. The House is not in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. And the gentleman from Louisiana may proceed.
Shockingly, I said, "Do you understand that these floodwaters may not recede for months?" And he looked at me and he replied like any good old Cajun. He said, "Shy, them floodwaters, was sent here by God, and they will recede. The same God who gave me my 2 hands and my 2 feet so I can get back to work. My job is gone because of a man and my government, not God. Please tell them that we are not only ready to get back to work, we need to get back to work. Now, my friends, how do you say no to him? How do you say no to a people who have endured over 2 calamities per year since 2005? Katrina, Rita, Ike, Gustav, the Deepwater Horizon incident, the Mississippi River floods that are coming upon us. These people simply want to get back to work. They understand that putting them back to work will ease the price at the pump they too pay. Let's put our differences aside. Let's put America back to work. Let's crank up those steel mills in Pennsylvania. Let's tell the boys in Illinois that we need those Caterpillar engines. Let's tell the Texans, the Louisianians, the Mississippians, the ones in Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, and Oklahoma that jobs are coming back to the Gulf. Let's fuel our plants with American energy and American oil. No more shall we beg those who hate us for their oil. America is on her way back, and it starts in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's put the Gulf back to work so we can put America back to work. Madam Speaker, I withdraw my point of order.
The motion is withdrawn. Yield back. Without objection, the previous question